All right, Bitcoin Monday, $122,000. That's pretty quick. We're here now. As kind of expected, right? We're looking at big breakout moves. Price discovery is a hell of a thing for Bitcoin. Hard to stop a freight train, right? And that's Bitcoin right now. So if you're wondering, we're looking at the 4-hour. We'll start here, then we'll zoom out, look at the weekly close, the monthly perspective. But if you're wondering, like, why are altcoins not moving yet if Bitcoin is on this rip, right? Its dominance is high. We're going to look at this more in depth a little bit. But it's got to come down a little bit. Like, I really even a week of hesitation or a week that looks like this. But when you have 4-hour red candles printing outside the upper Bollinger Band, Bitcoin's bullish, right? I mean, look at that move, right? A red candle closing above the upper Bollinger Band. That's pretty nuts. That's hard to do, right? That doesn't happen often with anything. And if it is, right, it's very bullish. And be the opposite, right? If you're really bearish in a bear market, well, I'm sure we'll have some. That would be like a green candle closing outside the lower Bollinger Band. So the recovery is not even getting back in. You see how weak that sounds? How bullish this is? Altcoins are on the back burner, but they're loading potentially. We need to look at some things and why. Like if we're going to go back and look at March of 2024 versus now and see what we can see. Slight differences, but maybe we'll loosely follow. All right, so the 4-hour. I mean, you're holding the EMA 8 on the 4-hour. What's not to like? Ultra Bull's still in charge. I would expect nothing huge out of alts until that simmers down. But we're getting dragged up, so there's something, right? 2, 3, 4, 5%, maybe some going double digits occasionally. Sui's up 13. That's nice. But to get our 20, 50, 100% gains in a day, see those again, it's going to take Bitcoin chilling out for a while and holding up here, right? And then holding bullish. It could be ways away, right? We might go to 130, might even be 140, right? Looking again, when we look at the weekly, you'll see that we could have much more to go. It could hold out here, right? There's different characteristics of every move. But looking at the smallest time frame here, the 4-hour, there's certainly no signs of slowing down yet. When you're closing red candles, the sell candles outside the upper Bollinger Bands, you've got to assume still higher. Now, when we would start to lose some momentum, right, just watch your lows. So I would say if we take out 117, right, then you'd get under your 21, right? Same principles apply here, right? We might be in for some further consolidation, but keep in mind we would be at 117. That could be the recipe we need for altcoins to start to move a little bit bigger. But we want this, right, on a 4-hour chart or a daily chart, right? If we go sideways for weeks, that should do well for alts. But something like this, where we don't drop necessarily to cataclysmic lows, but maybe we take out the previous local low on the 4-hour, still hold major moving averages. That's kind of what we're looking for. So take it a day at a time. But it's Bitcoin's time now. So let's just have a little bit more patience, or at least we're at 120 and not 60K, which, how many people think, back in March that we'd be at 60K? Probably a lot of people, right? A lot of people thought bear market, right? How well are those people working out now? Okay, they're finding a rooftop. Daily chart. Let's look at the daily. Anything else you want to see also, like indicators wise or something else? Let me know. Daily chart. Look at the Bollinger Bands. Lower, as long as that's pointing down, higher's the odds, right? I mean, look at the move. Pretty spectacular. 98 to 128. Could we do it? Do a $30,000 move? That'd be pretty wild. We'll see. But what we wanted to kind of avoid over the weekend is that like kind of a tower or reversing, closing back really under here. For this is our weekly line. We did that with pretty much ease. We $10,000 week last week to the positive side. That tends to go pretty well for the bulls. So now the blue, I think we got to redo the zones again here. I think we got to drag these up, right? I mean, times are changing quick here. Got to keep up. So blue skies and rainbows now is shifted slightly higher here. Green, we're still good here. We'll probably have to kind of subtly squeeze or expand some of these, but I think that's pretty good. You got range high here, some range lows. Caution. Yeah, I'm probably going to get rid of this gray zone. Yeah, this is probably honestly, this would probably be red at this point. We could probably omit the gray. Let's just delete the gray so I remember to do it. And so this, I think this would still be great. I mean, we're getting so high so quick, right? This is major reversal time. Now we're on the 15-20% reversal to get down here again. That sounds a little bit not like a green zone, but you know, I'll analyze this a little bit more. Maybe we'll look at the weekly. But certainly, like after the rip out here, right, you shouldn't be concerned. If anything, we could be looking at a throwback, right? A throwback is just a bullish retest of this, but not likely, right? History says not likely. When you get this far away, if you're going to do a throwback, it's usually like 5-10% move and then back to it. You know, 10-20%, not likely. And now, I mean, what did we hit? Did we hit 123? We've hit 123. Looking pretty good. Where does it stop? Right? Nobody knows. We're price discovery. So if anybody's calling where it's going to reverse, right? They're just guessing. But we can take fib tools to help us, right? I mean, it's already at the 1618. We haven't closed today, so let's make sure we get this relatively accurate here. So around 121. Let's see where we end up closing. Let's say we close just under here. Okay, that could be a spot that we hesitate for a while. That'll be fine. 121, 122. That's pretty good. Well, right there. So, yeah, if we start to close today and hold right under here, then I would expect this to be a kind of a chill zone. We might see altcoins start to take off later in the week because we got to see if Bitcoin's going to hold. Anything like this would be fine, right? Or just sideways run into the EMA 8 towards the end of the week. We'd have a pretty good alt week, I think. But we're going to have to pump the brakes on thinking that alts are going to go any given hour here. In my book, so far, I just think it's going to take several days, if not even several weeks, to really kick it in gear for alts, even though they're there. Like if you look at total 3, that's the total we wanted, right? Anything over like 920, 930, remember? Our videos we looked at, we're there. The fuse is lit for alts. It's just, can Bitcoin shield us from the rain? So the fuse continues to light? I don't know where I was going with that. Something like that. Something to that effect. Let's see what else. How about let's look at the trend. So even on the daily now, we'd have to go sub 113 to trigger a downtrend. We're an uptrend and have been since late June. Looked a little sketchy there, but here's the move. Pretty good. And we saw this on the 3-day, right? This was the odds. The tightest Bollinger Band since the bear market. January, where we started it, right? January 2023. That breeds this. So we have the 1618 tap so far. The 3-day closes today as well. But these Bollinger Bands are set up for much higher. Look back here, right? See, last time we pinched. Relative pinch. Much tighter now. But still, like one candle, a little bit of consolidation before just continuing to hold that upper Bollinger Band. That's the likelihood. And if we want to go back even more, I would say we're more or less along the lines of this one, because we're in price discovery again. That wasn't price discovery, right? We're not in price discovery here. The different recipes. This is the recipe that we're at. Price discovery recipe. And you stop saying recipe. We're right here. Or here, right? And what's what's likely? This is more likely than down. Right? These are 3-day candles, folks. This is a lot. Imagine we're only in this candle. That's a lot more. So this is where we'll see alts move more. Now, if we go look at, let's go look at the weekly. Well, we can also look back here, right, where we're at price discovery again. So looking back to 2024, hello. Right, this is where alts started doing very well, right? Got back to price discovery mode mid-February, March. Alts were doing excellent. So the best spot to look at this at is on the weekly. And we can see what the hell is going on now versus back then. We're a little too far back there. All right. So right here, right here, price discovery, right? So we have those matching right here, right? March 2024. I'll find it somewhere. Barely. We barely got to price discovery again. Alts were doing well, terrifically, right? But we weren't in price discovery when they started doing well. We are now. That's one big difference. What's the other big difference? Any guesses? Move the star. I don't like that. The Bollinger Bands look pretty similar, right? They're still wide open pinch, so it's not that. If you're guessing Bitcoin dominance, that's the correct answer. Bitcoin dominance now is, 65%, 64%. What was Bitcoin dominance in February, March of 2024? It was 10% lower, right? So we were down here. That's the difference. That's it. If we're at 54% again, alts would be doing just as good as they were back in February in 2024. We have to get a sustainable fall out of dominance. I still think we're going to get it. And, there's signs of definitely a stop here, but we're still very high. So that's really the big difference. We're in big time price discovery versus barely price discovery. We were close to price discovery mode back in March, April, but we're not quite there, right? We barely made a new high versus now we're like an explosive move, tightest bands in years. And dominance is at near all-time highs, right? Or at least highs in past previous mini cycles. So we're looking for a reversal. We've got to get really we'll take a weekly close under the 21. I think would do us very well. We've only done that really twice all cycle since 2023. Like closing a decisive candle below. I mean, that was really short-lived back there. But right here, if we could just get something like this, even get down into under 60, I think we're going to do very well. We really need some kind of a red waterfall here. I mean, that's good, but we need more than that at this point. There's not a person alive that can convince me this is coming again, but I'm sure there's people saying that this is coming. I don't buy it. I think we'd be lucky to get this top section. Like if we could get back to 55%, right? We did very well at 55%, right? We had alts going crazy. Why would we think we need more than that? I don't think we do. We just need to get down there. We do have to get down there if you want to see those absolutely ridiculous moves. you want to get crazy, it's going to take something down here. And that's, look how much far from the highs we'd have to fall, 15 to 20%. And I think before anything really starts going sustainable double digits, we're going to have to see like lows that we haven't seen in a while. I think we're going to have to take out this low, 63. Right, that would be a pretty good sign of a reversal, and that could happen any day. Give it a couple days, we could be there. Right, this happens pretty quick. This was and that was 11% in just over 2 weeks. So we can do there. We just have to do it. And what is it going to? It's not going to happen while Bitcoin's closing red 4-hour candles above the upper Bollinger Band, right? That's kind of why I started with that. Like, this is not likely on the ultra near horizon. Could it be in a week from now? Yeah. Could things shift even between now and Thursday or Friday? Sure. But as of right now, I'm not expecting like some meme coins or some random low market cap alts to just explode. XCN's trying to prove me wrong, but like, I'm talking like, if we scroll down the list and we see double digits everywhere, maybe we get a day or something of that, but highly unlikely that's sustainable until we are at least under 63. And I'm thinking under 60 before we really get that. So there's my really line in the sand there. So I know we're ready. We're all ready for Valhalla, but it's Bitcoin's doesn't seem like it wants to let go just yet, right? And remember, our inverse head and shoulders here is now like confirming, and remember the target from that is like 150. We might not stop until 150. Have a month or two of alts like we did, like pretend it's like January, February. It might only be September, early October, and it might be it. Especially if we're at 150, like early August, or even, goodness, like what if it's July? What if we're at 150 in July? That'd be worrisome. I don't think we want that, but it's set up for that. Like, let's make no mistake. I mean, what's bearish about this? This is set up for a move to a teleport to 150. We would need to hope that 1618 extension that we looked at on the the 4-hour and the daily at 121. We hope that holds. The 3-day, right, that we looked at from this move here. If you're wondering. All right, let's look at it from this perspective. So there's 138. Maybe we top out there. So we have 3 kind of key macro levels. We have 150 target for the inverse head and shoulders. We have 138 target from the fib high to low here. Then we have 121 on this move here. So that's kind of 3 targets. We'll see where we go. If we close at 125 today, or something arbitrarily higher, then this seems like it's more logical before we calm down, at least, or 150. If we close at 121, I think that's what we want for alts, right? Because if we get up here, I mean, imagine we're up here by July. It's easily possible. The higher we go before holding is shortening our cycle a lot. So if we want to make it to 2020, early 2026, even December, if we want to make it till Christmas time, we can't be tagging this anytime soon. Not going to happen. If we're tagging this anytime in the next, I think, month, we're in serious trouble as far as trying to extend this cycle. Now, we could still get a lot of good prices, could 2 or 3x on a lot of coins still. But if we all want 5, 10x on some of these lower market caps, some coins under 500 million or under $1 billion market cap right now, if you want to get 10x, we have to last until late Q4. There's no way there's any 10xers coming if we tag this by early August. I would say 0% chance. So let's be careful what we wish for here. This is great, But we need to hope, fingers crossed. At this point, like we've done enough. Calm down, Bitcoin. But it doesn't seem like it wants to on this scale, right? I mean, no. This seems higher. I do want to look at, let's look what the SAR is on this one. 91. Yeah, I would say we're in a heap of shit if we go to 91. So let's keep our eyes on that, how that updates. Let's go to the monthly. 75. Yeah, when this triggers on the monthly, we're in bear market for sure. Now this will make giant leaps, so it's not going to stay at 75. In 17 days, that'll probably update like 10, 15 grand, I would guess. But here's the monthly outlook. I mean, we just hit the upper Bollinger Band on the breakout. We go back to 2023. Again, we're not in price discovery here. We didn't hit it there. We hit it on this one. Then we flagged down, but in my opinion, we're not going to flag anymore. Now, this would be great. Maybe if we did this and then that. I mean, look how much time we would have left, but I don't think we're that lucky. I think we're going into our final phase. I think this is the blow-off move. Just hopefully we can last until September. If we can get July, August, September to be all green, we're going to have a real good time. I hope so. But that's just that move. You know, what if we look at, just thinking out loud here, what if we look at this one? Let's look at the 2618 is at 141. Okay, but what if we look at the ultra macro? $176. This would be nice. If we could do this, if we could pull this off, and it takes us to like October to tag that, this is going to be great. Be very nice if we could hit that. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if we get that high. I'd be surprised if we do. I know there's a lot of people that think we're going that high. I'm still a little skeptical. Just, I mean, look at the straight line. How is that not like a pretty damn straight line? So I think we're going to wave blow off here. Or somewhere around 150. I know 170, you could argue that 175, 177 is around 150, but I'd still be shocked if we get much above 150. So that's why I'm still kind of staying a little skeptical on these high targets, although this would be absolutely perfect based on this structure, based on what we're doing now, and how fast we got to 122 after a retest of, 78, 98 that we got a couple weeks ago, right? This is what we really need, because it'll take us a little bit longer, I think, to get there. You see a candle like that, 37. Let's see how long we are from there. So roughly another 40, 45%. Not impossible, right? That doesn't sound too bad. From a Bitcoin perspective, that'd still be over an 11x out of Bitcoin, which I never really thought we'd see again. I never really thought we'd see a 10x even. So look, where did 10x go? 10x is 155. Yep. So we're not going to see a 10x again. It's got to stay under 155. Just some interesting thoughts there. Monthly. Let's also look at the 3-month. And note that we closed this, October 1st, but these moves 68%. So if we take that from where we kind of opened, that gets us right in the wheelhouse. It's not like we've never seen that before, but realize 68% now is a lot more money than, back from when we were back here. It was 30,000. 70,000. Right? All right, so we'll see how this goes. This would be probably the final candle, honestly. Should be fine. If we can peak out at 177, 175, October 1st, I think we'll all be very happy. So a lot has changed over the past couple weeks here. So we'll stay on top of this. And yeah, we'll just take it a step at a time. If we top out up here, I'd imagine that SAR would probably trigger up around 60K, which would likely be, we've talked about this before, when on the 3-month SAR, likely when that triggers, it's right near the bear market lows. So if that updates to around 60K, then bear market, we might actually bottom around that level, 60, 70K, which would make sense. PA perspective, right, too. Last cycle high, new cycle lows. And, start the bull market off around 60, 70K in 2027, 2028, something like that. Be interesting to see how this plays out. But, looking back, like if we're picturing we're 4 or 5 years ahead here, are we going to hit this? It seems like we might knock on the door, right? Or it might look like we damn got close. Maybe we wick up here. Maybe we wick right to it. Hard tongue twister there. And then we end up selling off like this a little bit. Maybe we close at 150, but we tag 175, something like that, right? Certainly if we get that candle, look at that. We like wick up there and form a doji candle. Run for the hills. We got a lot of time, hopefully a lot of time left. I mean, if we're at 140 in a couple of weeks, we probably don't have a lot of time left. But as for now, it seems like we could have a couple months left of price discovery Bitcoin even.